Well, a few days ago, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency carried out a historic drug bust, seizing more than 1,850 kilograms of cocaine in Lagos. It's worth more than $287 million, well, that's over 194 billion in naira. Well, 4 people were arrested, including a Jamaican citizen. The drug agency says they are all members of an international drug syndicate. It's been trailing since 2018. Well, let's bring in the spokesman for the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Femi, Babafemi, for a discussion on this issue. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight tonight.
Thank you for joining us on the news. Yeah.
Clearly, first of all, this is huge.
Absolutely.
I hear it's Nigeria's biggest.
So far.
What do you make of this, really? I mean, over time, it's either been, one discovery or the other. We've really seen the NDLEA, in the limelight for very good reasons, as it is. But really, what led to this? Was this a tip-off? I really want to understand what really played out behind the scenes here. This is huge.
As you rightly pointed out in the report you read, it's something that has been on since 2018, but it's not been successful. And given the persistence and the absolute commitment of the new leadership of the agency, a lot of things were activated, and that led to a lot of support from our international partners, especially in this particular case, the Drug Enforcement Administration of the United States, who worked with us, provided a lot of technical support, and through that we were able to keep a track on this particular cartel, and which culminated in the bust that we had at the weekend, and which so far is the biggest in the history of drug enforcement, drug law enforcement in Nigeria.
So just before there's something very interesting he just mentioned, the fact that it's been on since 2018, but it was not successful. And that begs the question, what are the factors that hinder the success of such operations?
Well, don't forget, we're dealing with an international syndicate, well connected, great network across the world, and the most I can say on this is the fact that members of the syndicate have been moving. They have always been on the move, moving from one country to the other, and so it's been pretty difficult to pin them down. But like I said, with Marwa on the seat in the saddle, he did a lot of things, and that's changed the entire game.
That's quite, good to know. And just like we have, pointed out, Marwa has done a lot since he came on board. But in spite of these bursts, these drug dealers are bent in their ways. Exactly, help us understand, how did this amount of drugs get into the country? Are we to say that Nigeria is officially a drug producer nation? No, is that what it is?
Absolutely. We don't produce this kind of this class of drug. That is a class A drug, cocaine. We don't have that in the country. Yeah, if you talk of cannabis, we know we grow, we cultivate that in Nigeria, and then of recent again, methamphetamine, crystal meth. We know the cartel, members of the cartel had come into Nigeria, and they've been able to teach our people, transfer the technical know-how, how to cook that, and so our people also produce that here, and fortunately we're also handling that effectively. But as far as this case is concerned, this particular one, the much we know is through intelligence and through our preliminary investigation so far, the consignment actually came on the high sea, and quite a lot of things happened in the process, but we kept a tap on them until we're able to trail them to where indeed the substances were actually warehoused.
Right. So now let me just put this in very quickly. What happens to this huge amount of drugs? How much? Seized, yes? $287 million. There have been insinuations that within this, it has to take an insider for any drug baron to actually want to deal at this level. What will happen to these drugs to ensure that they don't fall back through the cracks, through insider collaboration?
No, that's the drugs have been effective. As I speak with you, a director is fully in charge, has been assigned to move all the way from Abuja to Lagos to take charge of everything. And I was right there at the spot. And right in the presence of the media, everything was counted and well packaged and moved to our central exhibit room.
Yeah, but when media's prying eyes are not looking.
No, that's what I'm saying. Quite a lot of mechanisms are in place to ensure that nothing and nobody can tamper with what you have.
Well, just before I let you go, I mean, we are celebrating, of course, this feat. This is really huge. And you did mention something key. A lot has really happened under the administration of Buba Marwa.
Absolutely.
As it is. My question is, what has been put in place to ensure, that the agency continues, with this good track record after he's out of the picture?
Absolutely, quite a lot of structures had been put in place. The moment he came in, he created. He came in, and one of the first things he identified was low staff morale, and one of the first things he did was to boost that, and by promoting about 75% of the workforce, which on its own it's a good development. Beyond that, there had been creation of additional directorates, which also created platforms, opportunities for people to move up. And in addition to that, you also have Zonal Commands 14, which is first in the history of the agency, which also created opportunity for people for expansion. Right. All of these and quite a lot of other structures have been created to ensure that things stand and work effectively.
Very quickly, what about the drug law policy? How effective really has it been? Where is it at now?
Definitely, we're working with what we have at the moment, but it could be better, and that's why we have the Act, an amendment bill before the National Assembly to further enhance the effectiveness of the law. I mean, especially as it concerns the new psychoactive substances. That's the NPS, which was not covered by the current Act. But beyond that, again, you also have the issue of the option of fine in the sentencing, and all of these are the things that have been put into the new bill, so that would further strengthen the deterrence and the deterrence effect of the enforcement of the law.
Great. Well, thank you so much. We're actually out of time on that particular one. Well, thank you. We have been speaking to Femi Babafemi, spokesperson for the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency.